And we are live, the SMT Podcast. Today's date, it is May 10th, 2020. This is the Sunday conversation. Hopefully we have people that are going to join us. I think just a couple of people running a little bit late. I see someone is backstage waiting, and we'll get them in here shortly. Not sure exactly who else will be joining me, but the conversation should be solid. Today we are talking smartphones, upgrades, which seem to be working best on certain networks. The nice thing is we have some amazing people here as part of the community that could chime in, offer their experiences, and I don't know, some guidance as to, which manufactured smartphones seem to be working well on certain carriers. The one thing I will say is that this conversation does shift a little bit because we have lost one carrier due to a merging with another. So that shrinks the field from 4 to 3. And then the fourth oncoming, we just don't know. But for the time being, we could safely say that whatever Dish happens to do, we know they're operating on the new T-Mobile network. So, whatever smartphone manufacturers work well on T-Mobile, we'll assume works well for Dish until Dish gets their standalone 5G going. Then this is a different conversation. But, the resources here on the channel, the SMT Nation, obviously. And then we also have, Caleb, who can kind of speak to this. I don't think anybody's purchased or used more smartphones than Carlos. Tim being on the retail side selling these things. What devices seem to be holding up? Which ones are customers most satisfied with? Which ones are they returning? In tough signal areas, who's holding up, performance-wise and things like that. So we'll have all that insight for you guys. So we'll talk about the networks. We'll talk about those smartphones. I'll speak to the upgrade cycle a little bit. Tim will chime in for sure, as he is in retail, and he knows all about the spending habits of people. And now with, the situation with the pandemic and people in the economy and things being a little bit uncertain, that changes things too. I mean, we already started seeing a shift of people upgrading their devices less frequently because of the way of the cost of smartphones driving up. And then throwing something like this, that becomes an even greater premium. So that's what we'll cover tonight. It should help guide a lot of you in your upgrades over the course of the next, 6 to 8 months as we kind of go through the rest of the year. I know a lot of you are iPhone people and some of you are Galaxy people and others like Google phones and so on. Your preferences may keep you from not changing, but it's good to know what's out there, and being informed is where you want to be as a consumer. All right, so let's start today off by wishing all of the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. Mothers are the most beloved figures of the family. I think it's safe to say everybody loves their mom. Everybody, you watch sports games after they win, or it's during the game. Hi, Mom. They don't say hi, Dad. And me being a dad, my day isn't until later. When is Father's Day? I don't remember. But today's Mother's Day. I hope you all enjoyed it. You celebrated it for your moms or moms in your life, like your wives and so on, if you have children and things like that. It's a fun day to celebrate those loved ones. So sending flowers and gifts and cards and chocolates and edible arrangements or whatever else they're doing these days. Kids in your rap music, I don't know. But yeah, let's go ahead and bring in Tim as he is waiting backstage. Timbo, what up, my man? What's happening, bruh?
What's going on?
Let me get you unmuted, big homie.
Oh.
Waiting on you. Wherever that mute setting is. Anyways, he'll troubleshoot his audio. We got Bob here. Puggy is in the house. Tom is here. Raffy holding it down with the moderating duties. Appreciate you, brother, man. Thank you for being here, holding it down. Big Bob is also here moderating. Thank you as well. We also have Malthanis is here to the live crew. Yes, sir. If you're watching this on replay, big shout out to the replay gang. Appreciate you. Go ahead and hashtag replay gang in the comment section if you are watching this there. Nope, didn't miss anything, Pete. You are good to go. Brian is here. Good to have you, sir. Josh, welcome to you. Hey, got things already started with Gene with the super chat. Thanks, bro. The customary donation from Gene. Thank you, man. $2 super chat. Thank you so much.
All right, we should be good now.
No audio, Timbo. Why?
Really?
Well, maybe it's me. Tim, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
It was me. I forgot to put my headphones out of the mic and into the machine. Sorry, bro.
Hey, we figured it out. We're good.
My bad, man. I thought it was you. I'm like, why can't I hear what's going on? Good to have you, man. Thanks for stopping in, and appreciate you, helping out with tonight's podcast, hanging out.
Yeah, no problem, bro.
How are things over on the real retail side right now?
Things are good. Things have been very, very busy.
Yeah, you guys got a lot of sales?
11 new activations just today.
Oh, okay. So you guys are sales and obviously the regular customer needs and whatnot. Rich Z, good to have you on. Caleb, welcome to you, sir.
Hey, good evening. Good evening, everybody.
Hey, Teletech RF Eng. I hope I got that right.
I wonder what company he works for.
We should ask him, right?
I'm curious. Could be AT&T. Who knows?
We have Mayan Stop Lying. What is this?
I saw that.
Oh my God, John is here. Who else? Ram is in the house. Welcome to you, Ram. Carter Grant is here. The homie Mike Dubb is in the house. What's up, Mayan Stop Lying? Sean Dubb, what's up, my friend? Thanks for stopping by. No, this is actually the Cleveland Cavaliers 2018 Eastern Conference Champions hat with the snapback. I like the snapback because, you could change the size as your hair starts to fluff out like now. So before I had it all the way and now I had to make room one slot because the hair is fluffing out. But with things opening up this week, I'm hoping to get a haircut at some point. Yeah,
I'm definitely doing that this weekend for sure.
The homie Scoop is in the house.
I gotta do something about this beard.
That is, I mean, it's become iconic at this point, Darius, good to have you, sir. I gotta move quick here. Shannon,
I've got a couple T-Mobile hats, Pete. I'm actually getting ready to buy some more.
We're getting more gear. We're getting more swag.
Yup.
T-Mobile Info Assistant, Angelo, good to have you on as well. Omar 2, welcome to you. Esther Kai, welcome to you. Glad you could stop by this evening. Maurice is in the house. All right, so we're already talking about compatibilities. That's a good conversation to have. Scotty, welcome, sir. Benny D is here. Ryan, Matt Sully. Salute to you guys. Glad you could be here this evening. And I'm still trying. I'm almost there. Mike Brackeen, good to have you. Finally switched from AT&T to AT&T from Sprint. 5G and OKC. I would be surprised if AT&T didn't have some Band 5 out there. Double check the coverage map on that. It seems to be in these like really extended areas where they do a lot of low band action. So I'd be surprised. Maybe it's just not in your part of town yet. Artemis is here. Welcome to you. Erica, Leon, welcome to you guys. Joshua's here. Nimmer is in the house. Welcome to you. Been a while. Good to see you here. T-Mobile Info Assistant is here. Seems something happened between part of the SMT. Please. Ain't nothing happening, Captain. Michael, welcome to you. A former Cleveland resident. I hope you move somewhere warmer because it's still cold here. I don't know what to say. It was just like a few days ago. It was like 70 to 75 degrees. It was beautiful. And then it jumped back to 30 degrees and it started snowing. I just don't understand. I guess you're not safe until June in Cleveland. See over my homie. What is up, dude? Good to see you here this evening. Trill Boy Gaming is here. Let's get some T-Mobile swag to Carlos. I wouldn't trust it. I don't think it would make it.
He'll burn it.
Yeah, I don't think he'll make it. I mean, you gotta know the outcome. It's predictable, What's up, Jar Cohen? Good to have you. Ryan. Finney, what is up? Good to have you. Bone Daddy is here, doing some upgrades at the T-Mobile. Excellent. Good to hear. 35 degrees in Chicago. So that means it's still going to be cold tomorrow in Cleveland because we basically get Chicago's weather the next day. So I'm not happy about that. I would like to do a formal welcome to some new members of the Patreon page, Ken, Dave, and Teletech. I welcome the three of you to the SMT Patreon page. For those of you not aware, it's a community of like-minded network tech enthusiasts that are looking for some additional or extra access and extensions to the community. We have a couple extra live streams every month. We do a couple of videos on the weekly extra stuff that we cover. Sometimes it's cord cutter stuff, sometimes it's network stuff, sometimes it's videos that are similar to the ones I do on the YouTube channel, but I'll go more in depth with certain topics. And then of course the early access stuff is nice too. So we've got $1, $2, and $3 tiers if you'd like to become a part of that community. There's a link in the description box. Also, the second channel, Steam Mobile Tech live streams, there's a link there. And the Twitter handle at SneedTech and the Megadon.net invite code is there. The social media platform of the future. Never need another social media platform ever again. No algorithms, no ads, and no tracking. Megadon.net. So, topic for today is smartphones and networks. I want to open this up first with addressing the elephant in the room. Before you upgrade, or before you start thinking about an upgrade, you really have two decisions. Am I going to be upgrading anytime soon, or is this going to be a long-term purchase? Because if it's a long-term purchase, there's more at stake. You think about more things, you're less sensitive to the purchase. If you are upgrading frequently, some people upgrade annually. If that's the case, then this conversation is a slam dunk. You just got to live with it for a year. But if you're upgrading every 2 years because it takes you 2 years to pay off a phone, or if you upgrade every 3 years or even 4 years, you really hold on to those suckers, then this becomes a little bit, a little bit more sensitive to you. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing is who you're going to be buying it from. Are you going to be buying a device from the OEM or the manufacturer, i.e. you buy your phone from the Apple Store if you're buying an iPhone, or you buy from OnePlus, you go straight directly from them and it's unlocked, or you get it from Amazon. That's one thing to consider, because when you purchase from a smartphone manufacturer, it's usually unlocked unless your name is LG. Then you're locking it because you don't have unlocked phones because you're stupid. So that's really the only exception to the rule, and it's ridiculous. Otherwise, you can buy from Samsung, and they do free financing. They do trade-ins. I'm not big on their trade-in program because they don't seem to give people the full value that they claim. So they'll say receive up to $700 when you trade in your Note. You trade in your S10 Plus, they end up giving you $350 because they say it's worn out and it's got damage on it. I don't like it, but they'll do that at least for you. They'll also give you free financing and that they won't charge you APR. So there's no financing rate attached to it. That's an option. Upgrading from a carrier can work financially quite nicely with a trade-in, right? They don't ask questions as long as the screen's not broken, right? So turns on, you can clear the Apple ID, you can clear your Gmail account, they'll take it, and they'll give you full value usually. And, if you plan on staying with your carrier forever, you don't have plans on leaving, then upgrading through your carrier makes total sense. Sometimes they do upgrades like, buy one, get ones, or you got to add a line, or they'll give you 50% off the phone if you add a line or whatever else. So there are things to consider. We'll get to those details. And then you got to think about some other stuff. Like, am I looking at a premium flagship, the newest iPhone, the newest Galaxy? Well, you're looking at 1,000 or better. Unless you're looking at some of the new players, like, there's the new A series. There's some options from Samsung. The newest iPhone is the SE. That thing's like $400, and some carriers give it to you for $200. Some carriers are giving it to you for free if you'll stay on with them for 2 years or 30 months or something. So the nice thing is we do have Tim here to cover us on the retail side of things. Caleb can talk a little bit about the network experience and what he sees. And actually, Tim probably can too, as his customers probably give him feedback all the time. And he himself is also a customer that buys and uses smartphones on networks. I'll speak to Verizon a little bit. Caleb can speak to probably Sprint and other other carriers as well. And Tim's got the T-Mobile stuff on lock. So we have some good intel here. We'll talk about features, display technology, battery sizes, 5G and LTE. I think we'll probably also talk about like which phones seem to be working well on like certain networks, right? So we'll kind of hone things in there a little bit. So as long as I didn't miss any super chats, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get things started first with one of the questions I addressed in the very beginning is how often are you upgrading? So Tim's got the retail experience. What are you seeing, man? What's the majority of people? How frequently are they upgrading these days?
Average, I would say 12 to 18 months is the average. Now you have your pockets that upgrade, every 3 to 6 months, and you have others that are still rocking or trying to rock iPhone 5s.
Crazy,
and
right?
they're refusing to want to upgrade. So it's very broad. Older people are definitely the ones that don't want to upgrade. They want to hold on to that legacy tech as long as they possibly can. People, my age, they upgrade all the time. They always want the latest and greatest. They want the fastest, biggest screen they can get.
Yeah, so when you think about a 12 to 18 month frame, that's not even the term of their usual payment agreement. With the installments, it's usually 24 months. So that means they're upgrading early. So what I would ask is, are they carrying over any negative equity, or is this like a jump on demand kind of deal?
It depends. There's two options. We have jump on demand, or you can do regular jump. As long as you keep the Protection 360, you can upgrade every 12 months.
Oh, so essentially, if there's $1,000 phone, they'll be putting about 500 into it, and then they'll be getting out of it.
Correct.
So you lease a phone for $500 basically for a year.
Basically, and then you just turn it right back into me. As long as it's not cracked, water damage, I can take it, and you're rocking another new phone, and the upgrade support charge is waived. So you
what
actually
is the cost on the upgrade support charge?
$20. So you save yourself $20.
So the carriers do encourage people to upgrade their devices.
Heavily.
They want them getting in newest devices for the network technologies as things change. And, T-Mobile's got a new, 600 megahertz network slice that, that's their big thing. As for somebody who's in an iPhone 5 is not getting that. That's got to be something you probably drive home to them regularly. You got to say, look, our network has completely changed since the iPhone 5 came out. If I'm mistaken, the iPhone 5 came out in like 2014 or 13.
Something like that. But statistically, which this surprised me, only 60% of the T-Mobile customer base has a 600 megahertz capable phone.
How much was the percent?
60.
So less than 2/3 have their most important coverage band. And it's actually it's become a capacity band because they've gotten so much new 600 megahertz access through Dish and Spectrum and all these other companies that are essentially leasing it and giving it to them. So it's added 15 to 30 megahertz of spectrum, which completely will change somebody's experience. You're going from probably times of congestion to probably 20 to 30 megabits per second, even during congested times. There have been people that have said they've gone from 5 megabits per second to 20 in certain markets just by having the additional 600 megahertz. Cesar, good to have you, man. Glad you could be here. I also think about like battery life of a phone that's that old. Like
most of them, when you start talking to them, they've had the batteries replaced, especially when Apple is doing the iPhone 6 and 6S battery replacements for $30. People jumped on that, and then they just hung on to that legacy tech even longer.
Yeah, I was going to say the iPhones, I mean, my experience as somebody who repairs them, I see them replacing batteries usually within 2 or 3 years. Usually.
Depends on how you charge it. Do you abide by the 80-20 rule, or do you plug it in and leave it on the charger all night long? Or the worst, plugging it into a piece of crap car charger and the phone is in the sun, it overheats. That battery isn't even going to last 2 years.
Yeah, it's cooking, man. Caleb, what's your experience, man? What's kind of like, how frequently are you upgrading and how often?
I would say I'm on a biannual basis. So every 2 years, we will see, as far as like from a chipset modem perspective, we'll see maybe an increase in massive MIMO radios, the antenna allotment, stuff like that. I will say to anybody that's in, that older legacy tech, like an iPhone 4 or iPhone 5, it's upgrading to a new device. It makes your life, I say this from personal experience, and I'm sure, Tim could say this or anybody, it makes your life more productive. You get stuff done faster. You're able to communicate quicker. It makes your life easier.
Sure.
It's like buying a new car, it makes your, or buying whatever, buying a new TV, stuff like that. But, it's mobile data growth. It grows 200% year over year. You walk into a mall, you walk into a shopping center. What's everybody doing? They're on their phone. And the big question is why is everybody on their phone? It's because it improves people's lives for the better. So I think there's people, yes, they do upgrade every single year, sometimes 2 or 3 years. But if you do have that, I would say probably anybody that goes beyond 3 years would probably need to do an upgrade. I would say biannual is probably okay. Yearlies are good. But for people that have phones that are 10 years old or whatever, it's time to get a new phone.
So with every year, there's a processor upgrade in like the succession of what Qualcomm makes and what Intel makes and so on. So essentially every year there's a performance upgrade to the modems and the antennas and the cellular connectivity. And this year, actually, more importantly, we're seeing a 5G upgrade. We're seeing new connections that were never here previously. We're seeing new additional carriers being added, so like 7 carrier aggregation and so on. Eventually, tower sites across the nation will be seeing these upgrades. And I also want to say that Wi-Fi was also upgraded this year. So, Wi-Fi 6 and these types of technologies, as people are upgrading their home routers and modems, the technology is being developed and it's being innovative to stay back with these old legacy tech devices. You're at the mercy of this old technology, and then you're always going to say things like, well, my connection on T-Mobile is slow. Well, my first question is, which phone do you have? Because if it's anything older than 2018, then that already explains why. Because in my experience, when I've used T-Mobile in the past and currently, it's plenty fast. In most cases, 100 megabits per second is pretty easy to come by anywhere in the CLE. And that's just being out of the house, right? Like you're mobile, when you have that capacity, you're never going to get slowed down. So if you have to be productive outside of your home off of Wi-Fi, you have that ability to do so. And I've always said, why do you pay your monthly bill only to have a small fraction of the experience that you could? You paying your bill every month has actually driven the network improvements for however long you've been on the network paying. So if your bill is $75 per month, that money that you've put towards the network has been reinvested to make the network better, more reliable, more coverage, more capacity, better technology and performance. The quality of the service has improved dramatically just since 2018, since they first started rolling out Band 71 on T-Mobile. Well, what about the stuff that Verizon has been doing with millimeter wave? And what about the stuff that AT&T has done with Band 14 and Sprint with their massive MIMO? These things are game changers. So having phones that are older, if you can upgrade, you should. And if you're 2 years every upgrade, that's much better than every 5. Because if every year is a step, then really you're only back one step, right? Being back one step is not the end of the world. So what? You only get 5 carrier aggregation. That's okay. I mean, it's still plenty. So what, you're on Wi-Fi 5 or whatever the step was before. But once you're going back 5-6 years and you're like, I still got an iPhone 5 or 6. I mean, you're so far back in performance. Even having like a Galaxy S5 or S6, that's so long ago. The technology has come so far. And it'll change. Like, you get into a car that has Bluetooth radio. Like, you're like, oh my goodness, my radio connects from my phone. This is so cool. Yeah, back in 2011, that was a cool feature, bro. Now we look at it almost like standard. I wouldn't expect a phone to, or a car to be sold without a Bluetooth connection. That would be weird to me. Just to kind of give you guys that analogy, because Kayla brought that up. I think one of the things that prevents people from upgrading is the intimidating price tag. Tim, what are people buying, dude?
So right now, a lot of iPhone 11s. The new iPhone SE has been a big hit, and the OnePlus 7T on the Android side has probably been the biggest hit because it's on promotion right now.
What's the promo on that?
So either new or existing customers can get that phone $350 off. No trade-in required, just add a line. So you're getting a OnePlus 7T for $100.
Wow. All right, so $100. Is that coming in as a bill credit, the $350?
Yep.
Okay, so they'll space that out over 24 months.
Mm-hmm.
So in adding a line, so the new line gets that phone? Is that essentially how it works?
You just have to finance it on that line. Your phone number, we can move it anywhere you want.
Oh, okay. So now, what's a line going to cost for somebody who's already got 5 lines pre-existing? So they'd have to add a 6th line. How much would that line cost?
Depending on your rate plan, either $10 or $20.
So according to my math, which is awful, $20 a month over the course of 10 months is $200.
Mm-hmm.
Over the course, okay, so that would be $240 a year. So that would be $480 for the life of that deal. So when somebody does the math like that, is it really worth it for them? Because the phone itself would have been how much outright?
At its current price point, because I believe right now the phone is $450.
So it works out the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, if you think about it, unless you need the line, right? If you add the line, you actually are going to use it. Like your son or daughter is old enough now to have a phone, or somebody wants to migrate over from another company and they want to join your account. That makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes total sense. But if I'm just adding a line to get a deal on a phone, that's where that math comes into play. I always question people like, okay, there's 4 people in your family and you have 6 lines. Why? And they're like, oh, well, I added the line to get the deal on the phone. And I'm just like, well, if your line isn't $10 a month, then I don't know what you're doing.
The best one is Samsung's when they do the buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones.
So a buy one, get one on $1,000 phone is nice.
You're winning on that deal.
Yeah, but a phone that's like $500, if you're paying $20 a month for service, it's not really worth it. But if you're paying like $10 a month for service, that works.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're saving some money there. Those deals, I think you got to be mindful of. You got to do the math on those. That's why, like with a mid-range, or like I think the OnePlus, it's $350 off is cool and stuff, but the way they got you structured on an add-a-line might not be the best deal. Trade-in. What are your trade-ins like, Tim?
So like right now, if you traded in a iPhone 6S points newer, you could get up to $300 off of an iPhone 11.
Okay, so the iPhone 11 is $700.
Correct.
$300 off gets you down to $400. So that's not bad. Because if you think about it, your 6S, if you've had one, you've used it for probably 4 years, 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably really, its resell value is probably $50.
Not through us. It's less than that.
Well, I'm looking at like swap eBay. If you're going to resell it on your own third party, it's probably worth $50. Wasn't Boost and Metro giving them away for free last year on a port-in?
Possibly. I don't remember.
I think so. I think 7s they're even giving away for free now. So, If you that 300 is a nice little trade in. That's a nice little value.
And we've got another one on the SE. If you add a line, you can get the SE for free.
That's a pretty good deal. To get, I mean, if you're going to be with T-Mobile, need a line. So, like, I kind of gave the scenario of having a son or a daughter that needed a line. Like, maybe they're starting high school next year. Time to get a smartphone or whatever. That makes total sense, bro. You get them in an iPhone. You get them on the little ecosystem with their little friends and their iMessage and whatnot. Right? Snappy chat, the whole nine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Feature-wise, Caleb, processors. I'm big on processors because processors have modems and antennas in them. So to me, I'm always big on the high-end processors. I'm the 8 series guy. I'll look at a 7 series, kind of depending. Now I think I take the 7 series a little more seriously with 5G. But in your experience and your opinion, how sensitive should people be, or how mindful should they be about processors?
I always go with it. It depends really on what you're doing with the phone and what you use it for. If you use it for, gaming, high intensity applications, you probably want to go with a faster chipset. We call those, 8 series SoC, which stands for system on chip. If you just do occasional web browsing, email, a phone call here, and maybe a little bit of chat apps and stuff, a 7 series would work fine for you. There's nothing wrong with that.
A 7 series, in my opinion, gets you pretty close to 8 series performance. Pretty close. I say that, but the 8 series definitely is the fastest. Internet of Apps, the fastest. Rendering video, gaming. It's always going to be better with an 8 series. What I will say, though, is if you're coming out of a 4 series chipset and you go to a 6 series chipset, that'll be a nice upgrade. If you're in a 6 and you go to a 7, that's a pretty nice upgrade. And usually when people are in an 8 series chip, they usually don't go down. They like to hang around because it's fast, it's powerful, there's no hiccups. The phones usually fly. If even going back to like the 8 series, like I remember the 801 and then the 805 and then the 810. Like every year you got this 8 series upgrade. They got faster and faster. I never really saw the battery improvement personally. They would say 20 to 30% more efficient. I never saw it because what I think happens is because they're better on battery, they kick up the clock rate on it. So that ends up consuming the battery that it was saving, So I never agreed with the whole, battery improvement.
You're correct. So most of the battery management is not actually really done with the chipset per se. It's done via software. So you're gonna, it's about who can optimize your battery life the best with software, because that's all. Think about the applications that you're using. Think about all the battery features that we can manipulate now in the phone today. I know Google's trying to, really hammer down on that with this year's Pixel 5.
It's
and again, the big
software security.
Yep, and the batteries are getting bigger. I know the Moto Edge Plus is supposed to last a full 2 days ish. So I predict probably like in the future, they might maybe develop batteries that maybe last half a week or up to a week. Who knows? Which would be nice.
I think like probably the nicest setup I would like to see for battery life and then still kind of stay up with the times. I would like to see a mid-range smartphone with, like a 1080p display, standard 60 hertz, nothing crazy. Give me a 6,000 milliamp hour battery and a 765G chipset. I think that would be a nice setup to possibly get you 3 days of battery life. Because the battery is enormous. The chipset is kind of sort of mid-range. And I think along with a stockish Android experience, like if you did that with a Moto, for example, give me a 765G, 6,000 milliamp hour, the stock-ish Android experience, and then, not a bunch of rogue apps running. 6 gigs of RAM type of deal so that it can keep a lot in cache, keep a lot in memory. So it's not like force closing and things like that. And like, I don't know what else they could do in terms of battery optimization, but I think that would be awesome because you'd probably get 2.5 days of battery. So
yeah, that'd be a good phone.
In terms of camera performance, to me, I trust 3 companies with camera performance. I trust Google, I trust the iPhone, and I trust Galaxy. That's who I trust with cameras when it comes to performance. Now, the video, from what I understand, a lot of video improvements come with updates. So the Google phone has kind of fixed their issues, whatever they had at launch. The Galaxy, I don't know what they're doing with the Ultra right now. That's a mess. The autofocus, it looks like that could be a hardware issue because it's not really getting better. Otherwise, I think the Note series and the S10s and the S20s, they're supposed to have like the best cameras, and they usually are very good. iPhone video is really good. The still photography, in my opinion, is true to life. I like the cameras, like the pictures my wife takes. They're not like overly like super saturated colors. So when I take a picture with my Galaxy, the yellows are more yellow. The oranges are more orangey. The greens are like super bright. My wife's, though, actually look what it looks like to my eyes when I'm staring at whatever it is I'm taking a photo of. So I think that's kind of a preference there when it comes to cameras between these companies. Moto needs to catch up in low light, in my experience. It's not good in low light photography. The video is decent. I don't really see an issue there. OnePlus has really made up a lot of ground when it comes to camera performance, so they're doing good. I'd like to see their battery sizes improve. Personally, I think display technology, OLED is where it's at. I'm not liking some of the companies hanging around with LCD. Like the fact that Apple is still putting LCDs in like the 11. I thought they were moving away from that, because you're already buying these mass production OLEDs. Why can't you get a good enough deal to where you can keep the cost pretty close? Like, if they're here's what's happening. If the OLED costs $1 more to make, they're going to be selling millions of these devices. So that's millions in their pocket that they used for the LCD, right? So it's cost saving. But at some point, like, I mean, once you go OLED, you don't want an LCD anymore. Because I did that. I went from an OLED back to an LCD one year, and it was a mistake. I was not happy.
Wasn't the iPhone 12 supposed to be OLED? I'm trying to remember what that processor said about that. Does anybody know?
I think all the iPhone 12s are rumored to be OLED.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'll make the jump.
Dave B's in the house. Dave B's Tech with the super chat. Well, when will AOSP get voice over LTE using 3G for messages and calls? Also, T-Mobile 3G shutdown timeline. The T-Mobile 3G shutdown, they're the only company that hasn't disclosed on a hard date. Unless, Tim, or Caleb.
I've heard some stuff about 2G, but nothing on 3G.
Yeah, I haven't heard a hard date. I know Verizon gave a hard date for activations. They stopped activating 3G only phones because they're trying to completely get away from 3G. I don't know. It just what's interesting about that legacy tech, the way that the older stuff on the network runs. So voice over LTE, if you're running stock Android or just regular versions of Android, everybody gets it. Whether you're on T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T. AT&T's got a funny thing where if you don't have an AT&T branded device, they would have to whitelist your phone in order for you to get voice over LTE. It jumps you down to HSPA Plus or HSPA. So that's kind of a pain. So these problems that Dave is talking about are not new. We've had this for a while. That's why I left AT&T. I had a line years ago, and I had Nexus devices. On Verizon and T-Mobile, those Nexus devices had voice over LTE. On AT&T, they did not. So I left because when I was using my phone, I was driving for Uber. When I would call my clients to, say, hey, I'm over here at this building, could you come out? Well, if I was running the app and making the call, the call would kick me out of LTE. So then I'd be in HSPA and then the app would fail. So I had to actually get rid of him just out of obligation, just to run my phone in a better, more capacitive way. So I feel with you, Dave. All I could say is you're either going to have to change how you run your software because you're running AOSP. I know he's big on security. He's big on privacy. So that's why he's running AOSP. Yeah, man, you're kind of in a pickle there. That's crazy. I can't believe that's still an issue, bro. Yeah, thanks for the super chats, Dave. I understand AOSP doesn't have voice over LTE. That sucks. That sucks because
I was going to say I have it on my Pixel,
but you're not AOSP.
It's as close as you're ever going to get.
No, AOSP strips everything down, bro.
Oh, you're talking about the version where it doesn't even come with the Play Store installed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bare bones minimum experience.
So, and the reason for that is the privacy and the security. They don't want to be, Mother Google on them, watching and tracking the data. What's up, No Radio? What's happening, man? I left too with the OnePlus. Yeah, that was hard. Once you get used to a certain feature and a certain expectation of performance, you don't want to step back. So yeah, I feel that. Display wise, I think 1080p is. I can't really encourage anybody. I can't enable people to say 720p is cool. It's not. Our TVs are HD, full HD. A lot of people are in 4Ks right now. There are people who are investing in 8Ks right now, which is nuts, right? 8K tech. I'm sure 16K is on its way at some point in the next year or two. But 1080p is kind of bare bones. And that's actually another thing that I would want to see corrected. I would love to see T-Mobile do this. Disrupt the game with entry-level plans having 1080p. And then your Magenta Plus getting like 1440p. That would be amazing, bro. So there are some people that have shared fast.com speed tests with me, and they're getting 80 megabits per second. Well, in that case, you could do whatever you want with that. You could do 8K with that. It's not going to hold you down. But for somebody who's on like Magenta, Tim, they're coming in at 480p video res.
That's correct.
I'd like to see that upgraded at least to 720p. I would love to see it at 1080p. I'd love to see 1080p at standard, because these smartphone providers or the cellular service providers, they're selling you devices that are 1080p, but they're giving you 480p. So I'd like to see some of that kind of change. I just think it should be standard, personally. No 3G firm down date, voice over LTE, no problem. Thanks for the super chat, Dave. Appreciate it, man. How possible do you guys think that is? I don't know. Maybe it's pie in the sky, but I don't like 480p, man.
I don't think anyone does. I mean, I can't remember the last time I watched a video on my phone in 480.
Well, I get mad when I see 480.
I can't remember the last time I did.
Yeah, I'm not a 480 fan either.
Gene, thanks for the super chat, bro. Appreciate it. Even an entry level plan should not be 480p. It should be 720p. Like if you watch, let's say you turn on your TV and you have a streaming app, you've got YouTube TV. It's standard 720p. Right? That's what they're going to give you. And some of the programming is 1080, and I know some people out there have Netflix and they've got that 4K content and stuff. But like, I don't look, man. 720p is going to require about 2 megabits per second, from what I could tell on YouTube TV. If you can get a solid 2 to 3 megabits per second, you're getting 720p. So that would mean all you would need would be a couple more megabits per second. Let's say 4 or 5 megabits per second for 1080p, and you'd have uninterrupted, unbuffered 1080p. So I'd like that corrected. I'd like to see that change. I'd like to see the new T-Mobile kind of take a stab at that. Maybe that's how they get people out of their old plans. Maybe you do something like that with your your provisions and offers.
The sad thing is, for the average consumer, they don't care.
That's not true. I don't subscribe to that, bro. I just don't think I don't think they know any better. Like, nobody's presented to them this way.
Let's do an experiment, and I'll use live customers and be like, on your cell phone, how many people care if they're watching a video on YouTube or Netflix in 1080p or 480? And I bet the majority will say, as long as the picture is clean, they don't care.
But 480p is not clean. Like, it's grainy.
I would agree to that.
It's grainy.
I would definitely agree with that. I mean, I'd be pissed as all get out if I had to watch 480. But
bro, if I see 480, I'm flinging the thing, bro. I don't even want to watch it if it's 480. Like, the only reason I'll watch a 480p video is if it's an old episode of Martin, because that was filmed in 94. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's it. If it's Sanford and Son or Martin or an old episode of Family Matters or Full House or something from the 90s, give me Topanga and Corey Matthews. I'll watch that in 480p. That's it.
Yes.
Hey, my brother LB, thank you for the $10 super chat. We're over here going down memory lane talking about Topanga and them and Corey and Sean.
I grew up on those shows.
But seriously, bro, 480p sucks. The minute I can boost up the resolution, I'll do it. You get your option on YouTube in the upper right-hand corner if you want to change the resolution. Now, if I'm having trouble and I've got a bad signal, like in my house, for example, and I'm getting a half a megabit per second, and I've got to go down to 144p, that happens occasionally, like. And if it's a podcast or something, maybe the video doesn't matter, but if it's something for viewing entertainment, I think 1080p's got to be where it's at. I think that's the next horizon for these carriers to look at.
Well, I think it's going to have to be, just because of the advancements in the screens, because like Samsung, the S20 lines, they're 2K displays. The LG V60, it's a 2K display.
Mm-hmm.
Even the OnePlus 8, I believe, is a 2K display.
And that's one thing I said to Verizon when I had 1080p and on the new Verizon Unlimited plan, and middle of the year, because the network was starting to get congested, they downgraded me to 720p. Middle of the year. I said, wait a minute, bruh. I bought this phone from you guys. I bought this plan from you, and you're changing the terms of it. And you know what the Verizon rep told me? He said, I'm sorry, but we literally can't do this anymore. Our network, based on the way the usage is trending, we can't support 1080p right now. He told me that. You know?
I was working for Verizon when that happened too, when the changeover.
So that what happened is they had to refarm Band 5. It still wasn't done.
Yep.
Once they refarmed Band 5, if you notice, they started selling a 1080p option. You had to pay extra $10 a month, but you could have got it. And that's what they're doing. It's an upsell. That's why I think it's going to be hard to get that. As much as I want it, I don't know if it's realistic, because people are willing to pay for the 1080p. And there, others are willing to take the downgrade and stay at a 480p plan. Cesar with the $2 super chat. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it. It's very nice of you with the donations. Am I behind here? Yeah, I'm definitely behind. Dave B's Tech with another $2 super chat. Last SC tonight, I use 144p.
Oh, God.
I
can't.
Dave's a little bit different. All right, his situation a little different. Literally, video resolution does not matter to him from like an actual like vision standpoint. Like, he doesn't care. Like, his vision's not good, so he's like, what do I care? He's in it to listen. He's in it, for that sort of thing. Yeah, 4K is cool. Although, like, providers ain't really cutting it, they're not really giving us the ability to do 4K. Looks like I think I may have gotten a PayPal super chat. Hold on. Maybe. Yep. Ronald with the $10 super chat on PayPal. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. I didn't even know Ron was in here. I didn't even see him pop in. But thank you. Thank you for that. Jesse's going with 480p on this stream. Gotcha. I noticed the 720p and 1080p difference. I always do. I can see it. Caleb, can you see it?
So here's the thing. I personally don't mind a 720p. The only time where I really mind if it's where I need it to be 1080p, to be honest with everybody, is if I'm watching a movie or a movie trailer, like a movie premiere. Then if it's not in 1080p, then I'm not a happy camper.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you're watching me right now, I definitely recommend like less than 480p because you don't want to see my ugly mug in high resolution. So that I understand. I mean, if you want to see all of the bearded glory of Tim, then yeah, turn up the resolution. But otherwise, like something like this wouldn't require anything high res. But I think like Caleb says, man, like a new Transformers flick is coming out. You got the option for 1080p or 480. I'd like to see that in 1080p.
Well, I'm not showing any video right now.
Sprint Premium, no throttle or deprio. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I do like it when the carriers don't hold back and they give you full access to the network. It's pretty awesome. 144p, man. That's what we were rolling with for a while. I still see uploads when creators first upload a video. It takes time to process, and the only option you have is 360p or 144p. That's rough. 360. That's a tough sell. LB says the average consumer can see the difference in 480 and 1080, but most don't know the difference between 1080 and 4K. See, to me, the 480 and 1080 is 100% night and day. I mean, that's like 10 years of technology, right? Like I said, Martin Lawrence episodes are in 480, and the new episodes of 90 Day Fiancé, those are in 1080p. You could clearly see the resolution difference. The 1080 and 4K to me is noticeable. I don't even know if I'm really that special about my vision. I mean, I'm 20/20, I think. It's been a while, but I don't know.
I remember when I upgraded my TV from a 65 1080p to a 4K 70, and it made all the difference in the world.
I don't even think when people say battery life is better on 1080p than Quad HD, the 1440, I don't really see much of a battery difference there.
I was going to say, I don't notice it either.
But I do see a difference in the refresh rate. Like when I had my S20 and I had that sucker on the 120 hertz, that was noticeable. The battery life drained, I'd say a difference of about 1 hour of screen on time. Seriously, it was noticeable. Nertz says, I'm watching this at 480p on the laptop because it's tethered to the phone and I have to watch my data usage. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're on a limited data plan, makes total sense. Crap, man. I would probably put this on 144p if I were you. Unless you wanted to read the questions, maybe. Or the comments. Right. Looks like I'm a little behind in the live chat. Jesse, what's up? Throw up a poll on Twitter regarding resolution. I think that's a good idea. I'll probably do that after this sometime in the evening. I'd like to see what people's preferences are and then, kind of where they're at with their res. Caleb, I would ask you, what has to happen with our networks for video res to go uncapped?
For video res to go uncapped, it's pretty much just getting 5G nationwide, getting, this is for all the carriers, getting it rolled out, high density millimeter wave. I seriously believe that's what's going to take. I don't see the carriers doing uncapped anything even at 1080p or anything like that until we have a good 5G presence for all the carriers in the U.S.
So, in your opinion, even though AT&T is rocking 5 and 7 carrier ag and 250 megabits a second, you don't think that's enough for uncapped video?
It's enough, but it's just the problem is availability. Nobody has no one really has a great, national 5G footprint that can have the tax demand on uncapped video for millions and millions of customers, and that's why it's going to take 5G. I know that because I know capacity constraint on a cell tower, on the network, on a cluster of sites. The only way to fix that is to have all the carriers roll out the 5G nationwide and densify, the whole U.S. And then, they can say, hey, we got uncapped 4K streaming on all our devices. And that's the only way that's going to happen.
LB says, I think we notice it because we're tech snobs, but the average consumer won't notice the difference until you tell them. That's true. So, like I said, if you show it to them, if you give them two phones, one's in 480p and one's in 1080p, they will see it 100%. I don't think it's arguable. But I think like Tim and what LB are saying is that they just don't care enough. Like it's not a sticking point for them, Right.
And like I said, video is also the most bandwidth that the carriers look at. It's the most bandwidth constrained. It's always video. It's not voice. It's not text. It's not applications. It's video. It's video apps, video this, video that. So what's this saying? It's the first to go in, the last to go out, right?
Yeah.
That's how it is. Hey, Carlos. Bro. Hey, buddy.
Hey, honestly, I don't care if it's on 480p, whatever, bro. As long as when I hotspot to my TV and that can be in 1080p, that's all I care about, bro. On a phone, you really don't notice too much of a difference because the screen's too small.
I agree with you there.
Straight up. As long as I can hotspot my TV or my Apple TV or whatever, and that can get the 1080p 4K, okay, we're good.
It's hard for somebody to go from quad HD to 480. A down, like if you get a smartphone plan that had pretty much any type of video res allotment that you needed, like, I don't know, maybe you had an old Verizon plan where you had like 25 gigs of data a month, and then you switch to a Verizon Unlimited, a current one, and you're getting 480p or 720p, and your phone was getting you quad HD before, you'll notice it. That is a noticeable downgrade.
Just pop the SIM, the one that you have for the hotspot. Just pop it in the phone and use it, bro. That's the old school plan, bro. Come on.
It's awesome.
You'll be at. You can, if it can do 1440, you can do 1440 without buffer, bro.
But that's the thing. Like, when I look at options, like people have workarounds. There are people that use, WinScribe VPN and other VPN services, and they get around it. But you try to avoid that because to get a good VPN, you have to actually pay for that. So if your VPN service is $5 a month, well, for an extra $5, you're going to be free to go 1080p anyways with your carrier. So, and using a free VPN that's a problem. It's very risky. Your security is at risk, right? You're not going to, I can't advise somebody to use a free VPN and then start doing banking through their device while connected to that VPN, So, there's always workarounds. And Carlos, look, your plans are amazing. You've got those throwbacks, but they've worked their asses off to get people out of those plans and discontinue them.
Well, I don't know, bro. I mean, I haven't been forced out of my plan yet.
Well, no, what they did was when people were used to upgrading devices through their carriers, that's how they got them out of their plan. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Back then, before they started, when they hiked it up to $50 a month for the unlimited data feature, that's when you were able to do it. But when you were still on the old $29.99 feature, nope.
J Mill, thanks for the $5 super chat. Life is good, bro. That's what's good, J Mills. Appreciate you, man. And LB, bro, it was very nice of you to stop by and donate to the channel. We appreciate that very much. I hope all is well with you and the family. And you're doing a great job with the popcorn business. I mean, God, man, I see the positive reviews and the reception that you get online and in Twitter, bro. You're doing amazing. Congrats with that and nice job with all
awesome.
That. Yeah,
bro.
And actually, you know what?
Ray had some.
We should place an order, bro, and get some of that popcorn, bro. I think he's based out of Chicago.
I think so. I can't. All I know, bro, is that Unlock Custom Droid Ray had some, and he brought it in my car that day. He was like, "Bro, you got to try this out, bro. It was fire, bro."
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I know Yasmin will love it.
Yeah, I'm down for anything food.
Oh, bro, it was fire. I wondered how it even tasted that way, bro. Like, how did he get it to taste like the Fruity Pebbles and stuff like that? You know, like, how's that possible, bro?
Dude, that's awesome.
It was fire, bro.
I think it's Popcorn Land, is it?
I can't, dude. I have to ask Ray. He's the one that knows.
God, man, I forget the name of his business. Hold on, don't quote me on that.
But it was fire though, bro. That's all I know is I ate almost the whole damn bag.
God, man, I'm gonna have to connect with him on Twitter and get him a special shout out on that. Man, I forgot what the business is called. It's been a while, but all right, we'll do that. We'll do that for LB on the next one, man, for sure. He's a good dude, and you know, he's actually big in the tech community. He himself is not a YouTube creator, but he's big in the community. Like, he's always in on the conversation. He's always in on different podcasts and live streams. You know, he is based in Chicago. All right, so Chicago and Indiana. We'll hit you in the Popcorn World. That's what it is. I'm like, Popcorn Land. All right, so it is Popcorn World. Let's get there. Popcorn.
Make a note so I don't forget.
Yeah, let's do that. So, yeah, so here's his layout, and I'm gonna do a screen share real quick because we could do that. All right, here's the website. You guys can peep that out. Manny Flavors.
Yep.
All right,
That's it.
Let's check out some of these flavors, bro, because there are some unique ones from what I understand.
Oh, yeah.
All right, see, my wife would love that kettle corn butter one. Yeah, she would love that.
Oh, wow.
But there's some unique ones, aren't there? I feel like there were some crazy ones. We're gonna have to ask LB one of these days to come on and just get us going on all the different things that he's doing over there with Popcorn World. Hey, Sean, thanks for the super chat, man. Doing the world of flavor. Yes, indeed. That's pretty cool. Anyways,
great for movies.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. We got I'm getting hopefully a new TV at some point, and then we'll get it mounted, and we'll get this area taken care of for watching Shrek and other movies that Yasmin wants to watch, because I don't have any rights in this house when it comes to the programming. I had to watch the Rocketeer, bro. They got a new Rocketeer cartoon.
Oh, really? Oh, is that the one with the little dogs and stuff?
No, bro. You're messing up the cartoons, man. You're talking about Puppy Dog Pals, bro. Puppy Dog Pals.
Oh, okay. I don't know, bro. It's been a long time.
Well, Carlos, you came in late. But what I want to kind of close out with is it all really kind of depends on what you want to do when you upgrade your device, how frequently you do it. Is it going to are you upgrading every year, 2 years, 3 years? How much you're willing to spend? What are the features that you want? For the most part, iPhones and Galaxies work the same on pretty much all carriers. I don't really see a difference there. OnePluses in the past have worked great on T-Mobile, not so great on AT&T. Motorola's seem to be doing very well on Verizon, and Tim says they work great on T-Mobile as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sprint, I mean, nothing really to speak of now because they're going, but from what I understand, the best phones from Sprint were like the LG series, the V series. They worked really well on Sprint. So up until the LG V50, they were very good. But they're not selling the V60, and they shouldn't, because they're not going to be in business, right? They're going to be a merged company. But anyways, I'm fasting. I'm done, and I want to go eat. So thank you to Cesar for the $5 super chat. You're going to have to hit the replay crew, my dude. All right, so we're going to hashtag, if you watch this all the way through on replay or in the live, we're going to hashtag Popcorn World for the homie LB. Big shout out to Popcorn World and LB for their amazing product. Everybody loves freaking candy coated popcorn. It sounds amazing right now.
Oh, God.
But hey, and big shout out to everybody who provided super chats. We had Gene, Dave B's Tech. We also had from LB himself, Cesar. I think 2 Cesars had donated, so we thank you for that. Also, Darius, thank you, appreciate you, man. Straight out of Cashville, man. I've never been to Cashville. I've been to Memphis, and I have been to Nashville, but not Cashville. be nice if they had a lot of money out there. I'd be there. Wonder why they get that name.
Heck yeah, right?
All right, Carlos, you doing any live tonight? Any type of periscoping or twittering?
Probably, bro. Probably.
All right.
So what's up? Did you talk about the C-band or what?
No, actually, we were talking just about devices and upgrades.
Well, bro, you
Is
gotta
that something?
mention that.
Is
You
that
gotta
a
mention
topic?
that. You gotta mention that great news about that C-band, bro.
Is
Come on, man.
that a live we could do tomorrow night?
Oh yeah, bro. I
All
mean, we got the official document, you know.
All right. Okay, but let's do that. Then let's do a live stream tomorrow. We'll be on live. Carlos will be joining us. Caleb, can you make it? Tim, can you make it?
Depending on work,
Yeah.
should be able to.
All right, so
that should be good.
let's do it tomorrow. Let's give it a go. It'll be around 7:30 start time like this, and hopefully we can get there.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
Nashville. Okay. All right. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of the evening. I want to thank Tim for coming on. Appreciate your time. Caleb as well. Carlos for popping in for the last 4.5 minutes. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks to Pete and all the moderators. I don't know. I didn't see Greg, but I did see Rafi. I did see Cesar, John, Sean. Who else was moderating today? Where are all my moderators at? Anyways, big shout out to all my moderators. Big shout out to the moderator crew. Big shout out to the replay crew and those watching in the live and those participating in the live chat. We thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night. I'm the SMT. Boys, say bye to everybody. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.